This is Jonathan Agger of Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Otto Wallin, who's obviously gearing up to face Derek Chisora February 8th. Otto, how's preparation going for that, first of all?
It's going well, thanks. Just starting some real sparring now, which is nice, and just getting in better and better shape. So it's exciting.
You've been waiting for this big fight, big opportunity. Did you think it would be against Derek Chisora?
No, I didn't think so. I was hoping. I think I said in a few interviews that I would like to fight him, so I was hoping for it. But I know that he was supposed to fight Big Baby, and then that fight fell through. So we got the call, and I was very happy about it. So I think it's a good fight for me, and I'm happy I got the opportunity.
This is actually the first fight you've ever had in England. Obviously, you fought in Cardiff before, but how excited are you for the atmosphere? Obviously, it's going to be a very pro Chisora crowd as you're expecting. But I think Frank Warren said, I think today that at least 9,000 have already bought tickets. So it sounds like it's going to be a good atmosphere in there on February 8th.
That's good. Yeah, it's my first fight fighting in England as a pro. I fought there in the amateurs at least a couple times at Haringey Box Cup, but it's gonna be nice. I think that UK fans are passionate. You know, we're singing and being very creating a really good atmosphere. So I'm excited for that. I'm sure they all gonna be rooting for Chisora. I have at least like 50 people coming, so that'll be good. Have a little click, but there'll be like what 10,000 Brits against them. So we see what they can do, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Chisora, it's been billed as his last fight in the UK, and he is popular over here. But I guess if the fans didn't think you were a credible opponent, they wouldn't buy tickets, right? So, what's been the reaction from the UK fans? Because you always get a lot of love from them as well.
I do. Some have commented, wishing me good luck and stuff. I don't like to read too many comments on posts, but I feel like people are pretty positive about this fight, so it's all good.
Now, obviously, like I say, it's been billed as his
Mm.
last fight in the UK, last dance, everything else. You're in England. Are you, concerned about if this goes to the judges? We know sometimes there's, dodgy decisions going on, and that's what people say, certainly in the UK. But are you concerned at all or not?
I'm not really concerned. We have the power to negotiate the judges and the referees, so that's going to be very important. We're trying to have them as neutral as possible and try to do a good job with our research with who's going to be the judges and the referee. So try to take care of that. But you go into somebody's backyard, it's always a question about that. But it is what it is. I think this is a really good fight for me. So that's really just what we're focusing on. Just try to come there as prepared as possible and just be ready to make a statement.
He said, it's going to be emotional for him walking out to a UK crowd for the final time. Do you think that emotion could potentially, be a factor heading into this fight? Obviously, for you, it's just another trip, but for him, it is his last time in the UK.
It might be, it might not be. I think he probably takes a lot of motivation from the crowd over there, especially when he gets such good support. So, if anything, I'm sure that it just brings him up.
Mm.
But if they start turning around and rooting for me, then it might hurt him.
In terms of, the opponents you face, where do you rank Chisora? Obviously we've seen, the last few fights, especially, that big win over Joe Joyce, he fought very well in that fight. So he's kind of like, on, like I don't know the word, mate, Indian summer or stuff like that. He's coming to the end of his career, but he still seems quite dangerous. Like, what do you think of Chisora?
I think Chisora is a tough guy. I mean, he's been around forever and fought everybody. He's always in tough fights and always puts on a good show. So I think that's what he's gonna bring this fight. And there's no backing down with him, and he's always just gonna bring it. So so he's a good opponent. He's He's a good opponent.
but you've come to spoil the pie, right?
Yeah, of course. This is not my last dance, but it might be his. We see, but it's not mine. It's just this is a great opportunity for me. Go out there, get the win, and then not looking too far ahead. But I think it's gonna set me up for bigger things.
Do you think you can stop him on February 8th?
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm. Now, not to look past him, but obviously, like you say, a big win over Chisora in the UK. You've got, Jean Caballel coming up. Dillian White had a win the other night, who you've called out many times. I guess this does set you up for some big things, right?
I think so. I think so. There's a lot of good options out there, and it's a lot of exciting times. It's exciting times in the heavyweight division. So it's a good fight for me.
Did you catch Dillian's fight, and what was your thoughts on it?
I watched 2 rounds, and then I felt like, wait, I shouldn't watch this. I gotta watch Chisora. So I switched over back to Chisora. But I watched a couple rounds. From what I saw, it didn't impress me too much. No, he's still coming back, but yeah, I wasn't too impressed.
Hmm. But do you think, a fight between you two get a lot closer if you beat Chisora? Because he's been saying that he wants the third fight with Chisora and stuff like that. So do you think a win for you will mean that you two would then get in the ring?
Well, I'm up for it, and we were supposed to fight before, so that's kind of why I still have my eyes on him. But I mean, there's bigger fish to fry out there for me. So if I fight, you know what, that's great. But if not, then I can move on and fight somebody else.
Hmm. And then obviously this weekend, a few days to go till Fury and Usyk, the rematch. What's your thoughts? How do you think this is going to go?
I think it's a great fight. The first fight was amazing, really close. Fury was hurt and took a lot of big shots, but still, it was a really close fight. So it's going to be very interesting. It's hard to say what Fury is going to try to do. I don't even know if he knows what he's going to do, but we'll see if he comes out aggressive. That's going to be really exciting to see what happens and if that works for him. If he comes out boxing, maybe that works for him too. But Usyk, uh, obviously, he won the first fight, so it'd be hard not to see him as the favorite just
Hmm.
because he won the first time. So he could definitely do it again. But I think it's going to be a really good fight and very exciting.
Do you think Fury's going to try come out like he did against Wilder in the second fight, and go for the knockout, or is that just not possible against Usyk?
It's definitely harder. They're two completely different guys, and Usyk is very sound defensively. But Fury is a really big guy and is much bigger than Usyk. So if he can do it in the right way, I think that could be a good option to really be aggressive and stick it on Usyk. Actually, Chisora gave Usyk a really good fight when he was aggressive against him. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what's in Fury's mind, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, I don't know if you've ever been cut, before in a training camp before, but obviously we know Fury had the cut, and he said he didn't spar before the first fight, etc. When you head into a fight and you feel like your camp's not gone exactly how you would have liked, does that affect you mentally going into a fight? Have you ever had anything similar?
I've had similar things. Actually, when I fought Fury, I had surgery here right when we got the offer to fight him, and that was like 7 weeks before. So I had a fresh scar here. So
Yeah.
I had during sparring, I was very careful, and we had to cut back a lot, and we changed things up a little bit. But I think as a fighter, you kind of you always try to be positive and think that you've done everything you can to win. So for me, at least, I always try to be positive. Still, you always doubt yourself. But as a fighter, you learn how to have a good poker face and just go on with things and try to be positive, I think, in the
Yeah.
end. So it's kind of hard to explain, but just you learn how to keep that poker face and just tell yourself that you're in the best shape of your life.
Yeah. And if the media asks, how's camp gone? the best can for your life, right?
Of course, of course. That's pretty interesting because when I was younger, I used to train with some guys that did sprinting and track and field. And every time I ask them, "Well, hey, how are you?" I'm okay. Like, oh, my back's hurting a little bit, my hamstring's hurting. And then every time I noticed the difference because when you ask boxers, they all say, "Oh no, I'm great. I feel
Yeah,
great."
yeah,
So it's a big difference because they can actually be honest on how they're feeling.
yeah, absolutely. But obviously, Fury's come out this week and said he thinks he's gonna get a win over Usyk so decisively that Usyk will never fight again. Do you think, obviously we've seen Usyk's achieved a lot. If he was to lose or win, do you think he might call it a day? I know they've said there's probably going to be a third fight, but do you think there's any way that Usyk does retire?
There might be. He's older, I'm sure. I mean, he has a lot of money. He's had a really long career, but it's hard to say. When you have a lot and you can make more, sometimes you want to do that. And maybe it's just the competitiveness in him too. And he has a lot of fans. He's a big inspiration for his people, I think. So uh, I think there's always a chance for people to retire, but it'd be hard to see him retire after this.
Yeah.
Usyk.
What's your gut feeling saying on Saturday, Fury or Usyk?
It's really tough. It's really tough. The first fight I was picking Usyk, no Fury. I was picking Fury to win, but it's really hard. It's 50-50. Uh, I don't know, man. If I have to pick one, I guess I'll pick Usyk just because he won the first fight.
Hmm. Well, also appreciate your time. Obviously, you're getting ready for Chisora, February 8th, so that's not long away. But anything you want to add ahead of that fight?
No, yes, thanks for having me, and I want to thank everybody for the support. I'm looking forward coming out to Manchester and putting on a good show, and hopefully see everyone out there.
Brilliant. Otto, appreciate your time. I'll probably hopefully speak to you actually after the Fury fight to get your reaction. But yeah, until then, appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thank you.